When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a Chemo Buddy for life.
We are a Buddies Network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are Chemo Buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for life.
Healing through connections.
Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
Well,
good morning. Good
morning. And okay, I have to do this because I feel so bad. I didn't do it last week, but
what did you do?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, BBs. Happy birthday to Ellison. And many more.
I had an absolutely wonderful weekend. Yay. I totally enjoyed it. It actually kind of started Thursday because it was graduation week. So one of my granddaughters graduated from middle school. One of the other ones graduated from college.
Wow.
Two more from high school. So it's just been the whole weekend. And it was just, and it was a beautiful weekend, weather-wise.
Yes.
So absolutely a wonderful weekend. And so then yesterday we went out, and a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while because she was on vacation, and we just had a blast. So it was just all in all, it was a great weekend. And Although I have to admit that my sister and I, we were talking, and she's going to turn 80 next year.
Wow.
And this morning I was chit-chatting with her daughter, my niece. And we were talking about that. She said, "Oh yeah, I've got to start making plans now for an 80th birthday." And I wrote back, I said, "Yeah, but I am absolutely too young to have a sister that is turning 80."
And you say, "Wow,
yeah."
Yeah,
know,
wow, she's much older than. Okay, so that's is that your oldest one, or
she's 6 years older than me?
Yeah.
And it's like, but I am too young to have a sister that's that is
Well, you know what? I just thank God that she's still,
oh yeah, she's absolutely
here
with
and
well
and everything else. That's amazing. And
And
those big milestones, because turning 80, just like how when you turn each, like every 10 years, you kind of do a big celebration.
The quarter century, and so yeah, it was just a really and a great conversation with her too. That we're not that now getting older is so different.
Yeah,
at least it can be.
Yeah.
And like she's the same as me. She's on absolutely no medication. We're just spry and just doing our walking every day and eating right and doing all those kinds of things. So, but one little tidbit this morning. You know how we talk about self-care not being selfish.
Yes.
We talk about that quite often. Well, this morning I was reading an article in and now I don't remember one of the Psychology Today. I was reading an article in Psychology Today, and one of the things that they talked about was that like self-care, it's not being selfish, and now they've added it's science. It's the science of self-care, because so much has come out that if we do not take self-care, and there's science behind it, of like, and so it just the whole article went on to why we need it and why it has to be part of our personal development.
Yes.
And so it was just really just a fun article, but and it's all about personal and self-development. And they talked about why brushing your teeth is important. The pillars of wellness, brushing your teeth, why you need to have a healthy gut biome that impacts, we always know about that impacts your wellness, but that your gum health can infect your gut biome. So self-care, so one of the things was they make sure you brush your teeth twice a day and set a timer for 2 minutes. And if you don't have a timer to set, and they now have toothbrushes that have 2-minute timers on them.
I heard, it's funny you talk about the time about brushing your teeth. I read upon that, and they said 3 minutes, and I was like, wow, whole 3 minutes brush your teeth. And I've been testing it this whole week. Yeah. And that's a long time.
That's a long time.
And then I feel kind of bad because they're like, either 2 to 3 minutes. And so when I was, doing, testing, I was like, well, I haven't spent, I was like, I'm not even past a minute. I wasn't even doing past a minute when I first started that. And I was like, okay, so that means that I'm going too fast. I'm not taking the time.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so important. So one of the things that I thought we would talk about, because just of our guests coming on too, because he actually does sales and marketing, but he talks about getting people into the right things that they're doing that's the best things for them. So that'll be a cool conversation. But you know what? It doesn't matter that if you have not brushed your teeth for 2 minutes, and I use 2 different toothbrushes. I have my regular one, but then I have the pointed one, because I have a couple of, okay, audience, you needed to know this about me, right? But a couple of my bottom teeth overlap each other a little bit. So I have to make sure that I use the pointed toothbrush to get between those teeth that overlap each other a little bit.
Okay.
And I know you needed to know that, but it was like, but it's just how important that is, because it impacts everything. We are all connected.
Yes.
So if you right now do not have a self-development plan, then start one.
Yeah.
Start one, because every journey starts with a single step.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't, and I think the biggest thing, so often people get so hung up in, oh, well, I can't, I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this. No, but you have to start somewhere. Start somewhere, and start today. Get out of the procrastination. Oh, well, I haven't done it for 500 years. Okay, fine, but start now. Start today. Personal development.
And you know what? Not only start today, or when you're going to start, like you said, start, like, just do it. The Nike thing, but also start short, start small. I mean,
that was my next people.
Yeah, a lot of people want to just start. They go, well, I got to do all this. Already they're thinking in their mind how long they got to do it or whatever. It's like, start small,
right?
Small parts of it. That's why I just start with the teeth.
Right. Start with your teeth. Yeah. You can't, because you cannot create an entire lifetime of habit in one day. It takes 21 days to establish a new habit. So start with one habit. Do a baby step.
Yeah.
Pick one thing.
Yes.
Start there. And one of the things that I really recommend for people is that start the night before. Your day starts the night before. So I tend to start my clients with, if they're having trouble getting going in the morning and just feeling overwhelmed, okay, so let's start tonight for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And like my mom, she taught us that we had everything ready to wear for the next day. Like for me, I have my shoes out with my socks in my shoes, what I'm going to put on.
Mm-hmm.
I might change at the last minute, but I basically have an outfit that I'm going to wear especially if I'm getting up early, that I have something ready. I have all my vitamins put out that I'm going to be taking. I have my shake mixes ready the night before. All I have to do is add water. All of those things, when you start the night before, it just makes such a difference. Know what you're going to do first thing in the morning. So then if you do have something last minute that pops up, find your keys. Make sure your keys are accessible. It is so important. It really helps with your self-development, your routine, and then, of course, your day goes better, because when you start your day better, guess what? It impacts your entire day. But if you start your day, in a state of panic,
it's just gonna.
It just escalates from there, and then everything, and then one thing feeds on another, feeds on another, feeds on another, feeds on another, and all of a sudden you're going, it's noon hour, and I felt like I have lived an entire day in 2 hours, because your mind is churning. Have you ever had a day like that? I know I have.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, more than many of them. Yeah. One thing I do too, Barbara, is, and I've been doing this a lot. This has really been helping me with items I have to get done the next day. So like you said, start the day before, that night before. So I have my little notebook. I always have it right next to me, my little notebook. I know it's the old school. And I write down the 3 items that I have to do the day before. I mean, before the next day. Because, and then it gets, and I do it at night, like you said, because I do it like a little down, like a brain dump in a sense.
It's like a brain, it's a download.
So I can know exactly, okay, these are the 3 things I need to get done for tomorrow. And then I put need to get done and the reason why, like just a sentence, because a lot of times I get on myself. I beat myself up. Has anybody else done
exactly
that? And if I don't get it done, or oh my God, it's the next day and it's still whatever. And I tell myself, I say, you know what? That's okay. If I didn't get it done that day, maybe it wasn't meant to be. That other part or whatever was meant to be. Or if something else came on between that, why did that come between it, and why I didn't get to that other thing if it was that important? So you look at both ends, because you got to understand what was taking up your time. Was it time that was spent well? Or was that time that was you were doing something else and you really could have been doing that other item on your sheet, but you tended to do something else? And that happened to me. I asked the question. So guess what happened? So I had 3 items on for yesterday.
Yeah.
Finished 2 out of 3. Then I asked myself, I said, why did I get that third thing done?
Right.
And then I went back in time, that day, what I did.
Right.
I said, oh, I know why I didn't get that done.
Right.
Because a phone call came in.
Right.
That basically I was supposed to tell them that we need to talk like either later or the next day because I had something I had to do for an hour and a half. Because I didn't do that. I wound up talking to this person for an hour and a half.
Right.
And I was like, the boundary. I moved my boundary. So that told me right there. And then another call came in and I had to say, you know what? If it's not an urgent thing or if it's not something that's like, something whatever, can we talk, the next day? Because I really got to get some business done. So it's okay to say that, but always check in with the person because sometimes people might be calling to say, Barbara, I need to talk to you because, oh my God, this is going on in my life. And, you have to something you put that, that's something you have to put to the side and say, okay, I got to check on this person.
Right.
But,
sometimes you do have to change things.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you got to see if it's that important to change it. Now, if you're sitting there talking about, oh, my dog is this, and a lovely day and everything, he's like, okay, this could have probably waited until, like the next day.
Right. And the thing is, though, that be accountable. Be accountable to yourself. But one of the things I want to caution me here too, because I get caught up in this. It's one thing to be accountable to yourself, but it's something totally different to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
So you've already mentioned we tend to beat ourselves up for things we didn't get done, for all of that. But be accountable and say, I love what you just said. I'm going to use that. The why. Find out the why.
Yeah. Yeah. And even when you found the why, because even when I found out, why I didn't get it because of that time that was taken, I said, okay, just a little tweak. I got to do a little tweak next time. No problem. But I'm glad that I looked back to see why, there was a reason for it, you know. And then sometimes it might be you were tired and you took a nap or whatever and you needed that rest. That's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
And I think too is that we so often look back on what we didn't get done. Be grateful for what you did get done.
Celebrate
what you did get done, because we can't. Every day cannot be I know people that absolutely micromanage their time down to the minute. Taking a shower is on their schedule for 12 minutes. That kind of stuff. I can't do that. That's just not me. But I do believe in being intentional about your day. Like this morning, I have looked at my calendar and what do I have on for today? Like that are the kind of the big rocks kinds of things. And then I might add something else to allow for, and just put in fun things that if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Kind of those things, because those can be relaxing things.
Yes.
And if it happens, great. If something else comes up, like I schedule crochet time. Time for me to crochet. It doesn't always happen because it's like, okay, it's one of those. It's an intention, but it's okay if it doesn't happen. We all have to have those kinds of things too.
Yeah. You have to have that. Yeah.
You have to have those.
It goes back to that self-care and thinking about you for a minute.
Yeah. But on the other hand, you challenge yourself to, maybe what do you want to do? Are you learning? Do you want to learn something new? I'm going to tell myself, I have been saying to myself that I really want to learn how to speak Spanish.
Oh, okay.
I have 2 Spanish things to take that all I have to do is listen to it for 30 minutes a day. And, I just practice. And I have so many people who are Spanish speaking around me. Barbara, there is absolutely no reason why you are not learning. So, and yet yike. What? Now I'm going to go back to why am I having such a roadblock?
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just, ask yourself why. So this is going to be, I think, this must have been the perfect conversation for today. Why am I having such an issue? I've had these programs for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why is
and
it
I started and stopped them, started and stopped, started and stopped, started and stopped. But I haven't gone anywhere. I mean, I can say restaurant Spanish. You know, ándale, vasos grande. You know, I need big glasses now. You know, that's those things because you use them, and some of the dishwashers, they don't speak English.
I love it, Barbara. See, already with that, what you just did sounded beautiful.
But hurry up, please hurry. I need glasses. I need large glasses. You know, and it's the funny things. So, but it's just hysterical. So just all of those things, but just start your plan, but then make a plan. I think I'm talking to myself here. Start your plan. Start a plan.
Yeah.
Take a baby step. But then follow up on it with yourself. Be accountable to yourself. Be intentional. And one of the things too is are you trying to do something that you just totally don't like to do?
I've been there and still sometimes come there.
And why are you doing it?
That's what you...
Is it serving you?
That's a good one.
Is it serving you? So many. I remember one day I did a little like a Zoom presentation on schedule, on writing the schedule. And one of the things that I shared was that, that's exactly that. If it's not serving you, take it off your schedule so that you don't ever see it again. If you're never going to do it, why is it still on your schedule? You don't like to do it.
Or delegate it.
Or either delegate it or get it off your schedule.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies in the group, she said, "Oh, I can do that?" It was like, yeah. Who's in charge of your schedule? You are.
Yeah.
And no is a complete sentence.
Yes. With a period at the end.
With a period and an exclamation or an exclamation point at the end.
No.
And you can tell yourself, because sometimes we have things on our schedule that we should be doing. But I should want to do that. Oh, I should be like, Susie Sunshine that does that. Well, are you Susie Sunshine? If you're not, then why are you worried about what Susie Sunshine can do that you aren't? You're not them. Do you?
Like you said, do you? And like you said, fine. And that's why it's so nice, like what we're doing now when we meet certain people that come on, like Darryl and people that we had in the past and come in the future. We learn about what they do, and there might be something, just not for you and I, Barbara, but for people in the audience that are listening, that maybe they can take on what you don't like to do because they love to do it. They like to do it. They're the expert. They're the guru. Give it to them. There's going to be probably some money involved, of course. Yeah. But look at what's taking up the time. Sometimes one thing I tell people, you can always make money or get money or whatever, but you can't get time back. So we want to make sure that, okay, if your time is spent your wheels on trying to do something you really don't want to do, but then you have to do it for your business, but you really don't want to do it, then find somebody that can do that.
And that's where Darryl comes in.
Yeah.
He's an expert in his field. So, and I think one of the biggest things is that so often when we first start our business, we're the jack of all trades. I mean, we feel like we have to do everything. So consequently, the things that we're not good at fall by the wayside, and yet they're still an important part of business.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I love about this show. I have learned so much from our guests.
A lot of people.
Because that's their field of genius. That's their zone of genius, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
That's their field of expertise. So they can teach us, and for my followers, they can teach us what we don't know. And if we want to, that's one of the beauties of it. If we want to learn it, great. They can teach us, and you'll pay them a little bit of money, and they'll teach you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to learn how to do it, you can pay them to do it for you. Yeah. Or you can say, you know what, that's something I'm never, ever, ever going to learn. I don't want to do it. I don't need it. And now you're done.
Yeah.
Get it out if your business doesn't need whatever that field of expertise is, great. Let it go.
And then before we get to our wonderful guest, Darryl, I want to also add to that, it doesn't always have to be people that has to do something that you want to do. Right. Use the technology wisely. Exactly. Technology can help you a lot on some things that you don't want to do. I'm going to bring up real quickly, because me and Barbara, I think we're both becoming gurus at this now, it's ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
In the AI world now. And it has took so much time that I would have taken like days and weeks to get some things done. And with this, it's been doing like maybe 10, 5 minutes, 30, depending on what I'm working on, what I want.
Right.
So, use what's around you, not just the people. If you can't afford the people, there's technology out there too that can help you do something that you, like you said, didn't want to do or needed to do, but you just kind of like, this is not my lane.
Not my zone. This is not my lane. Right. But use it wisely, like anything else. Every tool.
Everything you got to
use it wisely.
Everything. But I'm telling you, it does help with your time, because remember, you cannot get your time back.
Exactly.
But with that said, we're going to bring on another wonderful guest, Darryl. He's a strategist advisor, and he helps sports teams, athletes, and startups build better relationships around emotional data and innovation collaboration. This is going to be a good conversation. I see that right now. And Barbara, you always meet these wonderful people.
And it's fun. That's the fun part of what I do. It's the fun part of what I do.
Yeah. So we're gonna meet Darryl and get a chance to talk to him a little bit right after our sponsor.
Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. We're going to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Hello. Welcome, Darryl.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Good morning or afternoon or evening.
It's still morning here. I'm in New York. I'm in New York City.
Oh, you're an hour ahead of us. Okay, wonderful. Well, nice to meet you for the first time. Meet Barbara on my end. I know you know the other Barbara already.
You're one of the BBs. Yes, I met the other BB. Right.
Yes.
So as Barbara always says, she always likes to hear the backstory. So you and I have already talked about it. So, but one thing we had, part of our great conversation was that we have pets, And and that, one of the things, and I was just reading a thing on LinkedIn about LinkedIn this morning, and one of the things that even LinkedIn is getting more of that, even though it's a professional, they want to see more of the person, not just the business. So
of course, it's all about the persona. It's all about the persona being your authentic self, and dogs, cats, a lot of these furry friends are big pieces of our family and our mentality. But yes, I believe if memory serves me right, Barbara, you have had a dog or have a dog named Winston, and that's my dog's name too.
Oh yeah, we have one of our house dogs. My dog is Daisy, but one of the house dogs, his name is Winston. Yes, he's a basset.
Right. So yes, yeah. Well, my Winston's at doggy daycare today. He goes every Tuesday, so there will be no like random barks when the porter in the condo building that I live in is doing any recycling, and he hears noises in the hallway. But no, the dogs are great. Had lots of fun this holiday weekend with Winston, spending good time in Central Park, playing fetch, and yeah, that's one of the good things I can do to sort of be out there in the fresh air, have a little bit of fun, get the dog exercise, get me exercise. That's a good sort of sanity check.
Yes. That's what now these Darryl, you talked about that. That's a part of self-care too. Just going out, really just just having that time to spend and with your pets. I always say I know their family, they're more than just a pet because I don't have a pet, but I know a lot of people that do, and it's like their child. So I always give the respect on that end. But
right, and sometimes as a child gets older, they could take care of themselves. Dogs, as much as they get accustomed to your routines and what they need to do, you need to obviously make sure that you're checking in on them and that they're good. And it's always fun to pamper a pet because they give you the that emotional support and love, and they're I have a mascot because I work out of the home here, and he's the office companion. He keeps me honest, and I know that every 3 or 4 hours I gotta take him out, so I have to bake into my schedule times to take care of him when he's not at doggy daycare. But it's all fun. It's good. There's lots of pandemic puppies in my neighborhood. Here in the city. So there's lots of people and dogs that I'm bumping into when I'm taking Winston for a walk and getting some fresh air. So we've made lots of friends over the last few years since he's been with us.
So now how do you put that into, because I know we had part of a conversation about it, was having it into part of your business.
Right.
It's that emotional part of your business. So important to be able to, I can't even think of the word now. I can't even think of the word that you used of just that connecting to what you do and how your business works and how you work with your pet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think you brought it up earlier when you mentioned LinkedIn, how you were either discovering this for yourself or you did some read up on LinkedIn and what the platform is. But to be successful, you always want to be your authentic self, because if you fake it, people can, often see through you. It also doesn't come off as genuine. You're not happy. I think with the dog or anyone in your family, you don't want to sort of, hide behind anything. You want to be open, honest. And the way I've always worked has been transparent. If there's issues, whether you're in a corporate job or you're a solopreneur or you're a true partner in business, in a small business, whether it's family owned or whatnot, there's a lot of things that are happening in around you, whether it's at home or whether it's at the business or it's a big meeting that you got to prep for. There's so many things that are happening all at once where, some people might have it a little bit more comfortable at that place and time in their life, even if it's one day. But they should sort of know or understand what the people around them are dealing with, not even emotionally. I mean, that's a big piece, but just what are they really present? Are they really happy? And are they in the good place and time in their brain and their mind where they're giving it their all, and their spirit is sort of present around you. You never want to carry that baggage with you to a meeting, to a partnership, as you're going through a planning and development. I think with the dogs, the people around you, how you choose to act, it's all about where you are or what's going on. Was it a bad start to the day? Did you carry that? Did it have a snowball effect? And now you're in an important 4 o'clock call. Like, are you, or is that going to come through because you didn't have the best of days? No, you always got to really kind of give yourself that pep, and the people around you should be able to kind of support and understand where you are. So it's all about, to me, being realistic and having soundness of your mentality, but also understand that, what, it's all right. We're not going to get things perfect. I think you mentioned this earlier on the show. It's, you celebrate the things that you're able to do. You can't get through everything on your to-do list, but it's also, if you think about all the things that you've done, were you honest with yourself? Were you present, and did you have purpose with what you were doing? And did that help you get better that day in business to build and plan ahead? And when you come back home, whether you work from home like myself or you're coming from an office building, when you get into the family, can you be happy and appreciate what you have and what you've done?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing to do in your
Wow,
business?
wow. Well, we covered a little bit about that. My favorite thing is I love getting outside, going to Central Park. I live 8-minute walk away from Central Park. Playing with Winston, but I love playing with my family, going on some vacations, adventures. I'm a big, as you know, I've worked in sports and have been a sports fanatic my whole life. So I've enjoyed watching and attending games. But I love experiences. I love going to live concerts and being part of these celebrations, the pomp and circumstance, having community around you, enjoying holiday weekends, of course, barbecues. I mean, you name it. I really like the diversity in my life, and I find enjoyment in a good number of things. But if there's any, one or two at the top of the list, yes, it's about family, the dog, and finding personal fulfillment in some of the things that I like to distract myself with. So it usually tied to my favorite sports teams and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I still, what I want to hear, look at me, I'm being a little selfish right now,
You're
is
allowed to
your
be selfish.
backstory. I want to hear, because we've been throwing out about everything that you do so well, but I want to hear how you got started and what you do as far as the whole up with the sports and the emotional data that you do and everything.
Sure. So, I grew up, my dad was a big sports fanatic, but I always liked playing and watching sports. So at a young age, I started playing youth soccer, and I actually became a swimmer because my older brother was a swimmer, and that together we were on a team, swam competitively, and did well my whole childhood. So I was played, soccer early on, but really swimming was my sport. I swam from age 5 to 17. I played lacrosse for a little bit in junior high and high school. And then when I went to college, I knew I wanted to work in sports. I had initially thought that I'd be a sports broadcaster, and really been in front of the camera. But after dabbling a little bit and trying my hand at some things in college, I started doing more reporting, producing, that kind of work, where that brought me into the digital media space, where the internet was very much still in the early stages. But when I graduated college, and I did internships, I worked at Fox Sports in LA my junior year, and I came back, and one of my first jobs coming out of college was at the NHL, and I was working to support a lot of the teams early on. We didn't have a content team. And then, in time, I started doing more editing and strategy work, partnering with sales and marketing teams, working cross-functionally throughout the entire NHL organization. So in time, 16 years later, there was a couple of business moves, and the NHL had a relationship with Major League Baseball Advanced Media. I moved over to that firm, started doing more mobile app development. I started working with some engineers on streaming platforms. So it's always been about audience development and how to build the subscription model, and what can you do to really super serve these hardcore fans, but also these casual fans that are just maybe coming in and learning about the game. So to me, it's always been personality driven, get to know folks, and come up with some innovative campaigns that touch multiple platforms. It's not just YouTube. It's a website. There's the social media piece. As you guys know, there's also a lot of partnership initiatives and community building that goes to the grassroots level of getting people involved, understanding what a good positive experience is. I think I spoke to this a little bit earlier, but really, how can people collaborate and have fun together and really share in these experiences? Sport is the best way to really connect. If the three of us were fans of one team, I'm sure we could spend probably oodles of hours talking about the big games. Were you at this event? Do you remember when? And that's what usually kind of sparks a good conversation. So I'm working in the startup space with lots of other people similar to me that have worked in and around sports, that we understand the sales and marketing components, the best practices, the ways to develop content, enhance the message, and just have fun. Really, that's really how to best connect and make money in this competitive industry. I think there's a lot of nuances and obviously innovation out there, but the difference or the secret sauce is how you can sort of work together to come up with these win-win-win collaborations. And I think when you start, finding ways to deepen engagement and take them outside of social media, there's a lot of positive things that you can do together.
Right. And to me, that was a mouthful, because that's exactly what I think. The now we are moving away from competition, and we're going more into cooperation.
And collaboration too.
Collaboration.
Right. And I
together.
Exactly. And Barbara, to finish out that backstory, I was working at Disney streaming services for the last 3.5 years of my corporate life before there was a reorg, and I left. So in the last about 2 years, in August, it'll be 2 full years that I started with, my own practice. So where I'm a boutique consulting shop. Like I said, I operate mostly out of home, but I do a lot of in-person networking and lunches, and I've had a lot of fun in the startup space since leaving the corporate world. So I pride myself on being that strategic advisor and fractional COO that can really work and partner with the founders of business or the C-suite executives that are looking to start something new. So at that foundational level, I've kind of just seen and done just about everything that I could within these big multinational sports and entertainment properties. So now I have a lot of experience and insights on how they could best optimize their own organizations, really, so that they can build, scale, and be sustainable as they take on new people and new projects, as they look to engage an audience. There's a lot there in my repertoire, and that's I think how Barbara and I got connected, because I do a lot of networking, and one of our mutual friends, said, "Hey, you should speak to Barbara," and that brought us, this opportunity. But that's the fun that I have. But it's about building relationships and appreciating the community that you have around you, and identifying where you can grow together.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. I mean, that just building relationships, I think just not in your arena, but I think in all of our arena, I think the biggest thing I always tell people, you got to build that relationship to get that trust factor going, to get that, just get to know that person, instead of just saying, "Oh, here you go, and by the way, I sell this, or I have this, do this," or whatever it is that you want them to do. And it's like, wait a minute, you don't even know me. We don't even know each other. We haven't got a chance to really see, even if what you sell or what you do is something that I might need. And then I know in LinkedIn, not always, I don't know, I think everybody gets this from messengers, someone say, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. Let's get together. I sell this," or whatever. And I always laugh at this, because some people come to me, they didn't read my bio, they didn't read my nothing, and they're trying to give me a product that's not even something that I would buy. And this one person came to me, and it was a man's product. And he said, "Oh, I know you would love this product." And I'm like, "Well, I don't shave."
Exactly.
They were a nice mustache, and they were talking about it'll really make your beard good and trim it and stuff. And I was like, okay, do they know who they talking to? And I had to even look back at my profile and say, did I put a man's picture on there? Something's going on. But
Exactly. I mean, everything comes down to, of course, everyone's trying to, make money, but of course, rapport is so important. So, if the three of us were doing business, I'm sure it's not tomorrow. I know that relationships take time, and you wanna fully understand, each other first and the experience, but also, I like to sync up and talk about, goals and dreams, and really what you're all about, what's your ethos, what's your mission in life, not only in Q3, but in 2024 when we turn the page. I mean, there's lots of things that people plan and plot, but at the end of the day, you gotta understand where you are in that place in time and how realistic things can be, and to optimize what you're putting your bandwidth into, and of course who you have around. And if you have anything that is a real missing ingredient, that's the part that I help identify. And if I obviously have the bandwidth and the capacity to do it, that's where I know that there's some partnership opportunities. And it's usually, entails digital media or some marketing strategy. And of course, as a COO, I can help you across many different levels of business on the software side, the team building exercises, where where you can be more efficient, of course, and that's why I can be industry agnostic, but at the same time I have most of my fun and my passion, as I identified, is in sort of that sports media space.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that we talked about in the first part, is know what you're good at, know what you're not good at. Do you need it? If you're not good at it, but you don't need it, okay, great, let it go. But if you do need it, find somebody who is good at it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a lot, and that's a lot of the work that I'm doing too, is identifying who your strategic partners can be and what they can support. And, a lot of people, in many ways try and be multifaceted. They may be overextending themselves a little bit. So if you find a way to develop and really enhance that synergy, you can thrive together. But I think that, what's the quote? Individually we persevere, together we thrive. That's to me community building 101 is what. And this is big in business too. You can build the best enterprise, but you're probably doing it because you have strong partners within the company and outside, third party vendors, the people you work with, the people that have helped support and take you to the upper echelons of business.
And be grateful for those people.
Yes.
It just always amazes me when sometimes somebody who famous, and not necessarily even famous, but somebody that they are so humble that they say, you know what, I couldn't have done it without the people around me. And yet I have heard just the opposite, where it was all about, look at what I've done. Yeah, but you don't hear about all the other people that are behind them.
Yeah. The gratitude, being gratitude.
And I think that's the biggest thing, when you can be absolutely so grateful for the people that have helped you get where you're going, get where you've gotten. Like for me right now, I mean, I can't admit, we've been on the air now for 3 years. I could not have done it without Barbara Beckley, because I do not do any of the producer stuff. Wouldn't even, no clue. And the couple of times where she has left me, I'm like,
well, the way you said it, I left you.
No, do it on my own, but she still did the back of the house stuff.
Because I wasn't there.
But it's been great. I checked out a few of your episodes. I was obviously in the green room, waiting for my time, and you guys have great chemistry. You could see that. But I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm always happy to jump on, get to know a new community, new hosts, and keep up the good work, ladies.
Oh, thank you, Darryl. And the same with you. I love what you do. And see, this is why we love bringing on these gurus like yourself, because I would have never knew. If I didn't know what you did, I was like, now people could know, okay, if I need somebody dealing with team building, dealing with collaboration, all that kind of stuff, let me go to Darryl.
But definitely. I appreciate that. But and again, I love to circle back and note and tell you about the people that you've referred to me and what we've been able to do together, so that we could have that symbiotic relationship, and I could refer business your way, and again, that's the fun. You want to see everyone succeed and be happy, and then we're good corporate citizens, we're good humanitarians, and the world hopefully is a much happier and better place.
Right.
Yes. And just to let everybody know, please reach out to Darryl. I have his email down below, right down below, just to make sure, because I don't want nobody saying, well, how do I reach out to him? Well, we have it right there.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, Darryl at Habermandigital.com. I'm very approachable on LinkedIn, and I pride myself on being responsive. But again, yeah, thank you so much for the time here today, and yeah, if happy to answer any other quick questions. But I think we were only supposed to be.
Well, I mean, yeah. So we just want to say thank you to Darryl and Barbara again. You always bring the best. You always bring the best.
That's my fun. That's my fun part.
And that's your fun. See, we work and collaborate. You bring the good guests, I'll do everything else in the background, and we're good.
Yeah, you don't want me to do the background stuff.
So, Darryl, we always welcome you back. Your family now. So, anytime you want to come back, anything new that's happening in your world, please come back and come on the Time to Shine show. We're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate you and talk about anything that you are doing, victory in your life. And Barbara, as I always say, what do you always say, lady?
Let's make happiness the norm, because rather than the exception, because we all deserve to lead happy, healthy, financially free, abundant lives. And we can do so much more together than we ever can by ourselves. Yes. So, yeah, firm believer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay happy. Stay happy.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Bye. Have a good one. See you next time.
Bye, Barbara and Barbara.